I am participating.
All right, here we go. Coming up on UPH, summer sales.
The best friendship.
Quarriers, come out to play.
Motion sickness.
And more on this episode of Unbelievable Power Hour.
Captain Talon is in control of the Star Splitter cannon. They're beaming colonists to...
This galaxy is mine!
Who can stop this mad pirate?
Hello and welcome to episode 25 of Unbelievable Power Hour, your mind-blowing source for video game news, previews, and adventure. I'm DeHaan, and with me today is my gaming bro. Man, I get caught up on this every week. Wrong, bro something. Aaron Wiesinger.
Hey, it's me, Aaron Wiesinger. What's up,
Hi,
Dan?
How are you?
Why you get caught up on bro?
I don't know.
You want to call me something else?
How you doing?
Good. Got some coffee.
Are you gonna ask why I'm
And-
bummed?
What? No.
Nah, it's my last
Fine.
couple days of paternity leave.
Oh, wah.
I'm bummed.
You've had a good month and a half? Month?
Yeah, 6 weeks off. Coming to an end. Gotta go back to work on Monday.
Oh, too bad. Are you
Yeah.
excited even a little bit or not really?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss the little lady and the even littler lady hanging out with them.
I thought you were gonna say the little lady and the big lady, but probably wouldn't appreciate that.
No, not gonna do that. That wouldn't be prudent. Well, yeah, George Bush Sr. impression. Starting the day out right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. 6 weeks. You know, just like before it happened, everyone was like, aren't you guys going to get sick of each other? Aren't you going to get sick of each other? No, we didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still enjoying our company. We have a lot of fun together and just being goofy and fun. And, you know, you have a couple days here and there where you're just both like kind of tired and, you know, so
Hate each other a little bit.
kind of irritable or something, but, you know,
Sure.
that
That's
happened.
good.
But yeah, so got to go back and start making some money again.
Yeah. Poop.
Poop on that.
Too
But
bad.
otherwise, Steam summer sales have been going on last week and
Yeah.
last week, and it is tough. It takes real discipline not to just spend everything you own on
Yeah.
Steam games.
Yeah.
And I think I've done pretty good this year. I've made some purchases, but I've stayed in control. There's some games that I could have just clicked and bought without even thinking, and I didn't, thankfully. I was
Yeah.
like, is this really what I need? I've got the games that I want. I've tried to stick to my wish list.
Mhm.
You know, there's been a couple impulse buys here and there. Like I picked up SteamWorld Dig. It was
Mhm.
$250. I didn't.
It's a good
you
game.
know, yeah, $250. Whatever.
Yeah. Throw that
Um,
away in the morning.
I'm trying to think another one that was like super cheap that I picked up. Halo Spartan Assault was $250.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Guacamelee was $250 also. You know, so when it comes to those cheap things, it's like that's easy. But I
Yeah.
had a couple of like Age of Wonders 3 I picked up, and I think that was $19.99,
Okay.
and
It's pretty
that
pricey
was
for a Steam
50% off. It's a $40 game usually, and I've gotten some mileage out of that. And when we get into the weekly playlist, I'll talk about that. So
Nice.
also,
I
then during this time, oh, sorry, go ahead. What'd you buy?
I got Far Cry 3, and I got what was that other? My friend just gifted me Metal Slug 3,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, so I got that, and Battle Block Theater was on sale.
Now, Far Cry 3, how much did you get that for?
$9.99. I think I could have gotten it cheaper, but I got the
Yeah.
deluxe edition. It was
Oh,
normally
okay.
$7 something for just the regular one. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't feel like the impulse buy impulse as much as I did last summer. I felt like
Yeah.
last year I was really struggling constantly to not buy things, but this time I'm like, yeah, I could take it or leave it.
I got a lot last summer. Last summer I bought a lot, and
Yeah.
I think so there aren't as many. I mean, you're looking at maybe some games that you might have missed, and you're looking at maybe some games that came out in the last year, and so that really kind of it limits then the catalog that you're really eyeballing. So a lot of those flash sales and those community voted sales, they don't
Yeah.
appeal as much because most of the time I have the games already, or I'm just
Yeah.
completely not interested in them.
Yeah. I think too, I was talking about it with my other friend here, and maybe it's just me, but does it seem like there are overall more sales? Not just specific seasonal sales like spring sales, summer sales, but throughout the year, there seems like it's pretty often where they give good discounts on things.
And Steam isn't the only player in town.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I use cheapshark.com, and
Mm-hmm.
I keep an eye out on those sales. You can also set up notifications, like if a game hits this price, let me know. And there's good old games, there's Gamersgate, there's
Amazon.
Green Man Gaming, Amazon, and there's just so many. So yeah, I mean, I picked up a bunch of games well before this Steam summer sale, and the games have showed up for the same price during the summer sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that's 75% off. I mean, unless there's a price drop for the retail amount, it's Steam Summer Sale isn't going to beat that.
Yeah.
So
It feels like a much different beast than what it was last year.
yeah, I think the landscape is just changing.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, good old games is really starting to take off more and more.
Yeah.
I still love buying games on Steam though. I still love just like having that catalog.
Yeah.
It's hard
It's
for me to buy games that aren't Steam DRM.
yeah.
DRM's so bad, and whatever that people don't like DRM, but
Yeah.
really, yeah, it's nice just having it all out there.
Yeah. Just one unified, easy to use source. It's definitely the best shopping experience. So,
And
but
all like good old games, that they advertise that they are non-DRM,
right.
but really all that means is you can download the exe and have the exe file yourself.
Yeah, it does no checking in with
If
God.
you want that to stay in the cloud, though, like if you don't want that, just that exe sitting on your hard drive all the time, because who
Mhm.
does? You still have to have a GOG account. So
Yeah.
yeah, there isn't really, you have that freedom to just have the install file on your hard drive sitting there for whenever you want, but
Right.
who cares? That takes
Yeah.
up a ton of space.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were in a intermittent internet situation and you couldn't actively connect to your DRM checking service like Steam, you couldn't. or- Is it you can't access
Steam has
these, or
offline mode though.
there is offline mode, yeah. Does it
So
have to check in so often, or how does that work? Do you know?
I want to say it's like a week or something like that. Like you
Yeah.
have a week of offline mode that you can do. That's
Mhm.
just off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just a different thing. And DRM, I don't think Steam's going to go out of business anytime soon. They're too big of a beast.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if they did, it would be like there would be something that they would release all of the downloadable files to people. Something like that would happen.
Yeah.
Same with someone like Comixology. If they went out of business, I don't think you're going to lose your comics. I think they'll make good on it and say, hey, here are all these PDFs. You can download the comics. So
I mean, there would be no reason for them not to. It seems like just a matter of releasing that, because it's not like they have to give you a bunch more information. Like, you already have all the local files. It's just like, okay, you don't need to check in with this DRM anymore.
And I appreciate that. Like, all that stuff is just sitting out there on their storage. I own these. I can pull them down whenever I want.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. And like when I get my new computer here, like when there are games, I mean, there are games that I would like to play more on my better computer, and when I get that in, I can do just that.
Yeah.
It'll be easy.
Now, another thing that I've been doing since these summer sales have been going on, Steam cards. I've suddenly gotten into the Steam cards. I kind of ignored it. Like, I saw, oh, you got a new card drop, that kind of thing when you're playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been involved in their Steam adventure through the summer sales. Like, you're on a team, and that's kind of been it's a little broken, though. It sounds like there's some ways that the system has been gimped by people banding together and making sure that one team succeeds. Like, I think Reddit, there was an organized effort that, all right, we're going to pick a team, and that team is going to win today.
Oh.
So that kind of sucks that people, busted the system. But
yeah,
I've just had fun getting the cards, and I've actually been selling the cards and making money off of them.
That's
which
cool.
is cool.
We did a trade.
Yeah, we did a trade, and I've tried to trade with other people. There's some things in the system that I don't like. For one, if I have dupes of a card and I try to trade one.
Yeah.
For instance, one of our friends of the show, Ty Designs, I tried to do a trade with him. He's got a great Minecraft channel on YouTube, so check that out. But I tried to do a trade with him with one of my dupes, and then I was going to sell the other dupe. And I'm sorry, I was going to craft a badge with the other dupe. You collect all of these cards, and you can craft a badge, and it just, it's like a little thing that's on your profile page.
Right.
Well, it ended up crafting the badge with the one I was trying to trade with, rather than the one that, was the other one that was just sitting there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of busted. And then so the trade was invalid. He couldn't accept the trade. So that's kind of dumb.
That's stupid. But if if you had crafted the badge first and then tried to do the trade, that would have been okay. You just can't do it the other way around.
Or I could have just reinitiated the trade with the other card.
Right.
But you'd think the system Steam should be like, hey, this one's locked up in a trade offer, so I'll make the badge with this one.
Right.
Rather, so. But I've sold a handful of the cards, and get like 25 cents for one.
So did you get like Steam credit or?
Yes, it goes into your Steam wallet.
Okay.
And I mean, they sell like crazy. You look at all those cards; if they're just sitting there, I mean, you could at least get in your library of Steam cards a few bucks, which during Steam summer sales equals a game.
Yeah.
So that's
I should
nice.
look into that.
Yeah, I've made like $3, this during the sale. So
now I'm curious.
That's an extra game.
I have, like you mentioned, I haven't done anything with like the cards or really anything that I have. I know I have some badges, but I don't do anything with them.
And I actually now I'm kind of into my profile on Steam, because the more badges you create, the more XP you get, and then as you progress your Steam level, it unlocks more things that you can do with your profile, which is kind of cool. So,
cool.
And you can unlock emoticons and backgrounds and all that kind of jazz.
Nice.
So, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about was last week we talked about spin-offs.
Mhm.
and because Better Call Saul is coming up as a Breaking Bad spinoff.
Right.
And just out of curiosity, Brittany and I started looking up successful spinoffs to see what some of those shows were, because I couldn't think of off the top of my head some of them. And I was actually surprised at what shows are actually spinoffs that I didn't even realize were spinoffs.
Mhm.
Let me bring this up because there were a few of them that one Saved by the Bell was a spinoff.
Really, the original one.
Yeah, I did not know that. I remember there being the show Good Morning Miss Bliss, and it had Zach
heard of it.
Morris in it. But the spinoff was then Saved by the Bell. And I just thought it was like a rebranding, and they just dropped a couple characters, but it was technically a spinoff.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, another one, The Colbert Report, is a spinoff,
Yeah, that's true.
which is
I
weird.
guess I wouldn't. Yeah, I forgot about that.
All of your Star Treks, like Deep Space Nine, Voyager,
Sure.
all of those are all spinoffs. Stargate Atlantis. We talked about like Private Practice and those, but
See,
another
now,
one.
are those spin-offs though? Like, I guess with Star Trek, if it's in like a series, but it doesn't necessarily have to have one of the other characters.
It is, yes, it is considered a
still
spinoff.
considered?
Yep, if it's
Okay.
in the same world, it's a spinoff.
Mhm.
Like the CSI Miami is the same type of thing.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily a character spinoff, but it was the world.
Okay.
A Different World was a Cosby Show spinoff.
Mhm.
The other one that I was surprised, The Simpsons, is a spinoff.
From what?
The Tracy Ullman Show.
Yes, I've heard of that. I didn't know that it was like a direct spin-off of that. I've heard of the Tracy Ullman Show though, in
Yeah,
relation to The Simpsons.
That is crazy. So I was surprised. I thought that was like, wow, I didn't even realize a lot of these shows were actually spinoffs. So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Nice.
All right, but how about your week? Anything special?
Nothing too exciting. I finished Breaking Bad. I completely broke bad and got through. That's a crazy damn show.
Yeah, it was good. I liked the
Yeah.
finale a lot.
Yeah, I was really glad. A lot of these shows, like people get all pissed off at the final episode and tons of unanswered questions, but no, I was cool with how they ended it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's good show.
I hate Jesse Pinkman though.
You do?
Yeah, as a character, I don't like him. I mean, I appreciate him and what he adds to the show. I think he's a good part of the show, but just as a person,
Mm-hmm.
like I know people that are sort of like that, and I
Yeah.
loathe them.
Drugged up burnouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he got like really, really intense and sort of crazy the longer the show went on. And
Yeah.
like it made sense. And I sort of
Yeah.
liked him more as the show went on. Like his character as Jesse. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
I
instead of
think
just being
for-
like the whiny, drugged out dude.
I think for everything he added to the show was awesome. He was a perfect part of the show,
Yeah.
and he was a perfect counterpart to Walter, and there was just that shred of goodness in Jesse that you kind of rooted for, and you hoped maybe this would be the thing that would change him, or start a new life for him. But yeah, good show.
Yeah. I think he's a fellow Midwesterner as well.
Oh, really?
Aaron Paul, yeah.
Well, good. I hope his Need for Speed movie breaks all kinds of records.
God, yes. Oh, I forgot about that. Good luck to you, Aaron.
So, have you been watching a little
Nice
Game of Thrones
name.
too?
Yeah. I finished up Breaking Bad, and once you get in that sort of mode of binge watching something, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah, it is.
And it's suddenly like there's this vacuum of what am I supposed to be watching now?
AKA, it's hard to put pants on in the morning.
Exactly. Isn't life difficult? So I rewatched season 1 of Game of Thrones, and I think I'm maybe 2 or 3 episodes into season 2. And I think that I'd already seen all of season 2 before. I think that was where I stopped.
How does it hold up after a rewatch?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Really good, I think. Yeah. It didn't feel like annoying or like, yeah, I already know all this. Moving on.
I kind of feel it's hard with that show because it's openly known that tons and tons of people die
Right.
on the show.
Right.
You never know who's going to die.
Right.
And I kind of feel like that if you're watching the show episode to episode or just season to season, the show is amazing. But if you start thinking about the overall arc of the whole story together, you kind of start to feel like, what is happening? Nothing is really going on.
Yeah.
You know, you get pulled into the drama and everything that's going on episode to episode, season to season, but when you just look at the whole show, the whole arc, there isn't just really an arc going on, you know, that it's kind of like what is this all going to result in?
Yeah. It's sort of, I feel like high fantasy novels fall into this trap a lot. Like these huge like 1,000-page tomes get written for each book. And I mean, they're talking about, I mean, they'll write like 10 or 12 books. So like from book to book, it takes a long time for anything substantial to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're really trying to stretch that over such a long period of time. Like I thought that Game of Thrones, that's why I sort of got into it originally, because I thought it was only supposed to be like maybe 4 or 5 books. And they're not particularly huge books.
Now it's going to be 8 books.
Yeah.
It was
And
going to be
that
7,
bothers
and then
me.
he added another one.
Like, I want to see an end in sight,
Yeah.
you know? And there was another really popular fantasy series called Wheel of Time that I started reading, and the first couple books are really good, and like the plot gets pushed pretty quickly, but I mean there's like 17 books out. I mean I don't know exactly, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
And at some point you just stop caring. And you stop caring about reading about the types of cloth that people are wearing. It's like this has nothing to do with anything. So
Oh man, that's some pretty silk.
yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. 20 chapters on the description of a dining hall is not interesting read.
Yeah, Brittany's been reading the books, and that's kind of her complaint, is that it's just like, oh man, he goes on and on and on and on about what people are wearing, and
Right.
you know, so there's also it sounds like it's very possible that the show is going to pass the books as far as the time and the plot and everything before the
Oh really?
yeah, that the show is going to catch up to the books. It sounds very
Weird.
likely.
Yeah.
He's actually also given the George R.R. Martin has given the notes to the producers about what is supposed to happen in case he dies and can't release the last book.
Oh wow.
So
like
the
his
show
last
should
will and
come
testament
to-
for.
the show should, you know, be complete.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
I know
All
I've
right.
seen a couple people like complain about that. Where no, is he gonna finish this thing before he you know? Yeah.
He's not in the
So.
best shape. Alrighty, you want to move on to some gaming?
Let's talk about some games.
All right, it's time for some weekly playlist, everybody. All right, time for the weekly playlist, and man, putting everything into context, like I didn't play an assortment of games so much. I mean, usually I'll play a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and a little bit of this.
Right.
Played a little bit of a couple things, and then I played a lot of bit of one thing.
Yeah.
And that game is a game that I picked up on the summer sale, Age of Wonders 3. Holy cow. I probably, in a matter of a few days, Britters, my
Mhm.
wife, and I played probably about 15 hours of
Wow.
Age of Wonders 3. We've been playing the pants off of it.
Would you
Love it. Needless to say.
is that like Civilization sort of?
It is like Civilization, sort of. It's a 4X strategy game,
Mhm.
based in more of a fantasy, high fantasy, you might say. You know, dwarves and elves and all that stuff.
Mhm.
There's civilization building, but it has more of a tactical combat focus. You can win the game with diplomacy, but
Mhm.
it's not likely. You know, it's more likely, it's so focused on combat that's really the appeal of the game, is the combat.
Okay.
So it has the tactical, like like an XCOM, uh what's the Banner Saga, those kind of games.
Right. Right.
Might and Magic. And I love it. It's just like a great balance of those things. It's got just enough civilization building
Mhm.
and exploration. The exploration in the game is really good. You've got heroes in the game, so you have people that you focus on as far as their abilities, their stats, their magic, and also their loot. I mean, there's loot in the game that you can get and equip them with better equipment and things like that.
Mhm.
And we've really enjoyed it. I mean, it took us a little bit to get into it and see what was different. There isn't like a really good tutorial on how to play and know the differences, but after some playing and stuff, we started getting it.
Yeah.
There's just some things that are, a lot different than Civ 5 that we needed to learn.
Right.
But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't know if this game's ever going to end. I don't know. But right now, I'm just trying to build up my army and still expand, my empire.
So is it like Civ as well, where like there's really no story? It's just you either do a single player game and you choose the parameters, or you can do a multiplayer game.
No, there are campaigns,
Okay.
so that is also nice. That a different thing. So
Mhm. Yeah, I was really curious about that actually because I've seen it a lot. I know it's popular, but I played so much Civ 5. I didn't want just another Civ game. But it
yeah,
sounds like it's different enough, and if it
it's
focuses
different enough. I
more,
mean, that combat thing just adds that is probably the most fun part of the game.
yeah.
Uh, I think there's enough with the city expansion, but it's just all like you're focusing on the different types of warriors that you can create. Also the magic. Your research is focused on magic and unlocking
Okay.
different spells.
Mhm.
And I also like that there is it's like changing terrain. So there's different, like there's volcanic rock, there are kind of wetlands, there's forests, all that kind of stuff, and your race likes a particular type of landscape, and there are people that are born in a type of landscape, and that's what they like.
Mhm.
And so you can do a lot of terraforming kind of stuff in the game too, and that makes it part of the game. So there are global spells that you can change the landscape. You
Mhm.
can make people like a certain type of landscape by casting a spell on this city.
Mhm.
You can also cast spells on uh, your opponent's cities. Like just last night, some dude attacked me. One of the CPU players attacked me, and I ended up casting a swarm of insects into his town.
Mhm.
So
I
that
like
is
that.
just, I love that. It's so cool. There's just so much cool stuff with the combat and the different research, and I've had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. And it is all turn-based, right?
All turn-based, and it has hot seat mode, and which is cool because I love hot seat mode.
Yeah.
So we can just kick back and put some Frasier on and play hot seat mode.
You haven't finished Fraser, or are you just
Oh,
like
we finished.
recycling?
We're doing another pass through. It's just kind of like background noise at this point, but
Right.
there's certain things like we were in the days of, and I don't mean DAYS, I mean DAZE of
Yeah.
parenting, being
Hmm.
tired from intermittent sleep.
Hmm.
And so we missed some episodes that played, but we just didn't pay attention.
Right.
And then there's always little things you catch on a second. But yeah, been a lot of
Cool.
fun. Definitely, if it goes on sale again cheap, it's a recommended buy. I paid $19.99 for it, and I'd say it's worth it. It's pretty deep and a good game.
Yeah, I think it's back up to, well, maybe not full price right now.
I think it's $29.99 on sale
Yeah,
right now.
29.
Yeah. Also played some more Tomb Raider, which I'm 6 hours into Tomb Raider right now.
Hmm.
I enjoy the game. I think it's it's a lot like the Uncharted series now. Uncharted has its roots are in Tomb Raider, the original, and but it made a lot of improvements on that system, that type of game,
Right.
and then Tomb Raider, basically took a lot of those things and made some of them better. And I'd say Tomb Raider sits somewhere in between Uncharted 2 and 3 as far as how fun the game is so far.
Nice.
I like a lot of the systems that they implemented. Some RPG elements. Upgrading weapons and things like that. I like that. Uncharted doesn't really have anything like that.
Hmm.
I like the environments, the platforming. Story so far has been pretty good. So I'm continuing to play that, and sometime this year I'll beat it.
Is
Add it
that
to my list of games beaten.
which you are quickly surpassing me in
Yeah,
number of games
that's right.
beaten. Yeah.
Uh, what were
Do
you
you know
gonna
how
ask?
long that one's supposed to take?
It's a
How
10,
long
12
to
hour
beat?
game.
Okay. Q.
There's a lot of unlockables though. I mean, so if you just play it straight through, it's 10, 12 hours.
Okay.
But if you're getting all the collectibles and stuff that you can, because there's a lot of like parts and stuff that you can find, and there's a lot of treasures and stuff,
Hmm.
things like that. And yeah, good game. I like it.
Nice.
Now that one's also been going on sale a lot this week. So
Hmm.
you can't beat $10 for that game because it's still 49 something like that for the PS4.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So definitely is a good grab on Steam.
Sweet.
I'm kind of getting just like I'm going through that phase where I don't give a crap about consoles.
I I think I haven't turned on my PS4 in maybe 3 weeks.
Like there's that thought that goes through my mind like, oh, I could just sell my PS4.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it
I haven't really
may come to
entertained
that
that
point.
thought. I haven't really entertained that thought. Like all of a sudden it popped in my head and was like, man, I got so many PC games I could just sell that thing. And
Yeah,
I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
yeah,
I'll regret it. And I also like PS Plus, which is cool. And
yeah.
very least it's
There'll
a Blu-ray
be
player.
there'll be something that comes out like a decent exclusive that I think they'll hang on to that'll make it worth it. But
Yeah.
I mean, still at this point, I'm using Steam a lot more than I am my PS4.
The thing that annoys me though is it seems like more and more there's been a little a fire a brewing, a little rage from PC gamers that software developers are starting to gimp the PC versions of games.
What do you mean?
Well, just recently with Watch Dogs, a game modder found a bunch of some graphic features that they could unlock. I'm not sure if there were textures or just some elements, graphical elements that can be added to the game
Hmm.
that makes Watch Dogs look better, that were shut off.
Hmm.
And, you know, there's been some reports that it actually makes the game run better. And it sounds like it comes down to hardware. Like if you've got certain hardware, it's going to make the game run better. It's going to look better. And then some people have said, it doesn't really do anything, or it makes it a little worse.
Yeah.
But people are upset that it's like, why didn't you guys develop this, fix it, make it right so that it's, good for everyone?
Yeah.
Why has this been just gimped so it looks just like the PS4 version when it doesn't have to?
Right. Because they
Or
want
the
those sales.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like they want that even parity
Yeah.
between those systems. They want it to be like a three console, PS4, Xbox One, or PC, and they all kind of look similar.
Yeah, which it never will be, ever.
It will if they gimp it.
Yeah, if they purposely do that, yeah.
Another one, I saw that Need for Speed Rivals was on sale, and I considered getting it for the PC.
Mm-hmm.
And the game has been hard locked with 30 frames per second rather than 60 frames per second, or rather than allowing the game to run at 60 frames per second. And the reason being, it sounds like it was a console decision, that they did that to put it on parity with the console. It's just like they don't want to.
That's ridiculous.
Put the extra little bit of development into giving PC gamers a better product.
Do you think it's like because they don't want to pay the developers to develop the PC aspect of it more, or do you think it's a very deliberate attempt to, like, they're only doing it to keep it on par with like their console counterparts?
I think it's both. I think it would take an additional development, probably a little bit, not a ton, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
And then the advantage of that is they can just rationalize it by saying, hey, it gives us even parity between these platforms.
Right.
And it's a little irritating because that was another game that a modder was just, they looked at the code and they unlocked 60 frames per second. In fact that EA came out and said, we're not going to fix this because you guys can just do this simple fix that they put out, which is like a line of code in the exe.
I mean, they're just going to piss people off, and the longer, I mean, like, PCs, just due to their very nature and the upgradability of them, like, there's never been a point in time where you couldn't point to a PC game and say, well, that one looks better. If you have a good enough system, it will look better than its console counterpart. Yeah. So, like, they're just going to anger consumers.
Which they are. Like, if you look at the Metascore. Oh, hey. Hi, Aaron. You're waving at me. If you look at the Metascore of the PC version of Need for Speed Rivals, it's super low, and people are angry. I mean, that's the thing. And so those games aren't going to sell, and then people are going to be like, well, it's no point to us doing this because people don't buy our games on PC.
Yeah.
And it just perpetuates the whole stupid thing.
And the thing with Watch Dogs, like, I heard that the PC version, maybe, I'm not sure if it was just that, but I think maybe it had some issues with, like, loading. Like, it wasn't exactly the smoothest running game.
Yeah.
Like, graphics aside, it was just like it had some issues.
Yes, that is also true. But and this fix that was out there actually fixed some of that, is what people were saying.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my little rant on that. So I was annoyed. But and then the last thing I played, I went back into Broforce this week and played some of the game again. They've made some updates, which is nice. It's kind of cool seeing the changes that happen. They have a campaign, and so I played through more of that, and I still have fun with that game. It's just like a nice little, I got a few minutes to sit down and play, and had fun with that. I can't wait.
Well, I'm glad they didn't crap out on it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how the game looks like when it's complete and polished, and And still think they need to add some more variety in the levels and stuff, but
Yeah. Is it still technically alpha or?
I think so. Yes, I think it is. I think they've added some more music and sound effects too, because it didn't feel as empty that way.
Yeah.
How about you? What you been playing, bro?
Bro, Lily Lou. I've been doing probably the most with Far Cry 3.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's fun.
Yeah, it is.
It feels like a Ubisoft open world game.
Yeah, it does.
I can tell.
Just first person instead of third person.
Yeah. It's like the map, like everything you do feels very familiar. Especially like the last one I played was Assassin's Creed 4. I was like, well, yeah, that's.
And Watch Dogs feels
familiar.
just like the same thing. They're all in the same kind of family.
Yeah.
It's just like what's the setting? What's the the characters? Who are the players? What's the environment and the tone? That's all that changes.
Yeah. They're so I really like the game. I think it's super fun. The gameplay itself. I think it's annoying how when like certain things come up, when you learn something about an animal, like I'm constantly having to escape out and to look in my like manuals to see what new thing has been updated.
Yeah.
And it feels a little clunky, like the menu navigation.
Yep, I think I know what you're talking about, and I agree. Yeah, there were some little things here and there that I was just like, that's kind of not as intuitive as it could be, and
yeah. And I felt like the story is sort of poorly told. Like you start the game and you're partying with your friends and your brother. And
I thought that setup, that intro and everything was cool. I really
that was
liked
cool.
that.
Yeah, like that was cool. And I thought like if it kept going and then like you get captured by the pirates and then like it's at some point like
get a
you
pirate
escape
ship and you start sailing the seas, and then
and it turns into Assassin's Creed. I don't get it.
No.
So you get out of there and suddenly like you run into this other guy who like starts giving you ability. Like that was the part where it started losing me.
Yeah, it kind of lost momentum there.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, you totally get what's going on, and then suddenly you're part of like a bigger thing where there's this rebellion kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like all of a sudden it switched gears. Like, oh, you'll be able to save your brother if you fight this war with us, kind of thing. And I was like, nah.
And okay, so my question, like, well, maybe I can't ask that without really giving away what happens in the beginning.
Just ask.
All right, like, how many brothers do you have that are with you?
I thought you had 2.
Okay, so you do have 2 brothers on that trip.
Yeah. Or was it a brother and a sister? It's 2 brothers. Yeah, there were 2 brothers with you on the trip.
Because I mean, all right, spoiler alert, the one brother is already dead.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, what? I don't care. Like, if he's already dead, well, okay, if you got the other brother, and yeah, that really bothered me. Like, suddenly I'm a part of this revolution. They're like, you're the one. You look at your tatoa, and
yeah,
like,
I thought that stuff was stupid.
yeah,
Look at you're destined to
like it would have
save
been
the
so
Empire.
much. Like, yeah, if they would have kept it like small scale and like, look, you got to find your friends. Here's all this stuff that you got to do. Like that, I'm totally down. But making it this like larger than life.
Together. Yeah, just like you are just stranded in this jungle, and they could have made it that, hey, it starts out just with you finding one of these military little units and disbanding it and killing them and stealing their supplies and their weapons, and you got to get from one side of the island to the other, and you can take any route you want, and try to save your brother.
Right.
And as you did that, maybe more could unfold. But just
Sure.
to put so much on, it's elevating the main character in a way that just seems kind of cheap and unnecessary.
Yeah. Like I think that's why I'm having a hard time like really I really do like the gameplay. The gameplay itself is super fun, but I'm really having a hard time getting into the story. Like I just don't care. Like
And I think that's what you need to focus on. Is the game is fun. It is
yeah.
like Tim had said something to me about I'm gonna drive my Jeep off a cliff and that kind of stuff. And I accidentally did that, and I was like,
Mhm.
holy crap, this is fun.
It is fun.
Driving your Jeep off into a river or whatever.
Yeah. Or like running your jet ski up out of the water into the land.
I've not done
Like,
that, but I'll have to try it.
yeah, you can do some pretty fun stuff in there. Story qualms aside, it's very fun. Also, I guess the one other thing I'm hoping that there's more open to like weapon differences, like because when you start out, you're sort of right from the beginning shown everything that you can have as a
Yeah.
weapon. Like, here's all the pistols, here's all the SMGs. It's not a progression. It's a here's everything, go save enough money to buy this.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't take that long to get that much money. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a kind of weird choice.
Well, otherwise, I try to approach it as it's a B movie and have.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I haven't
I
played a
would
lot of
recommend it.
I haven't played a lot of it, just because I've been playing other things, but I definitely that's one that once I get done with probably Tomb Raider or something like that, that'll be the one I take on.
Yeah. And I will definitely keep playing this. I do
Yeah.
like it. So that was Far Cry 3. I started playing a bit of Battle Block Theatra.
Is this
This
a
week.
Steam Summer Sale game that you acquired?
It was, I think,
How much?
it was pretty cheap, maybe 2 or 3 something.
I get really excited when 1 o'clock rolls around. 1 o'clock EST, that's 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's when the
Mhm.
new daily deals go up. Oh man, I get excited. I love it. And I've actually taken part of every community
Wow,
voting sale so far.
that is dedication.
Booyah!
I can't say that I've done that.
Rocking the vote, y'all.
I think I've rocked the vote 3 times.
Rocking the vote. So how do you like
Uh,
Battle Block Theater? Are you
It's
a
fun.
thespian?
It reminds me a
Actor.
little bit of Little Big Planet
Okay.
in the way it's presented, like the sort of the cardboard cutout funny intro that they've got.
All right.
It definitely doesn't take itself seriously.
And do they have a
And
narrator?
They
That's
do.
like, welcome
Not
to
like that.
Battle Block Theater.
No, it's really crazy. And you're riding on the USS Friendship with a ship full of friends going on adventures in the beginning, and then the narrator goes, I mean, like it's this crazy, really long tale about the ridiculousness of how this whole thing starts, and it's a 2D 2D platformer, and so your ship crashes, and you've got to go through these levels and try and save your friends on the
A
island.
bunch of your friends die.
Yeah, most of your friends are dead.
Are mauled.
So it's a real uplifting romp through the land.
Bunch of Lego people get decapitated.
So it's cool. Like you can customize your character, and you're like this really simple-looking, block-headed dude. And you can, as you play through levels, you collect gems to get like different. Like you start out throwing this disc that will explode, and one of the things that I unlocked, it's sort of like a slot machine. You put in so many gems, and it'll give you a random object or weapon or something.
Cool.
And so, like, I got this frog that will, instead of throwing my disc, I throw out this frog, and then he walks along. He can walk up walls, and as soon as he gets next to an enemy, he'll explode. So cool, like upgrades like that.
Is it a platformer
And
then?
2D platformer, and different weapon or different block types. Like if you land on a volcanic rock type, it doesn't hurt you. It just like scalds you, and then you shoot up. And so like you have to use different block types like that to try and collect as many gems as you can, and then get to the level exit.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple game, but it's fun, and they do change it up. Like you can play it through single player, or there's co-op. And the co-op, it changes the level design, so you have to help each other. Like there are certain blocks you have to stand on, or like pull each other up if there's something that's too high. So it's nice that it's not just the same level, but with two of you. They do actually make a change to it.
How did you? Was it just the Steam sale that drew you to this game, or is it something you'd heard of before?
I had not heard of it, and my friend bought it, and he said it was still, I think maybe it was like $275 or something like that,
Yeah.
$375. And he was like, "Yeah, you should get it." I was getting sort of sick of playing Civ 5 with him all the time, so
Sweet.
try something else. So yeah, it was fun.
Cool. And then you were also gifted Metal Slug 3.
Yeah, this one was just this morning, so I only played a few minutes of it, and it's just. I'm not sure if you played Metal Slug at all. I did a long time ago.
I think I'm aware of the gameplay.
Yeah,
of it.
It's a platformer running around with you collect weapon power-ups, and you're going through a jungle trying to just defeat bosses, enemies, stuff like that. So
Cool.
fun, simple shooter game. So that'll be fun to play through a bit. And yeah, played a little bit more Civ 5. Nothing new to talk about there, but.
Did I tell you? I don't remember if I mentioned last week that I actually got a diplomacy victory in Civ 5. I think I did mention that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congrats again.
Oh, thank you. All right, everybody. That's it for our weekly playlist. It's time to move on to some news. All right, so it's time to talk about some of the news that's gone on this week, and just a couple little quick things we want to talk about. One, it seems like the team at Oculus, they're just pulling anybody and everybody that is talented onto their core team.
Yeah.
And they recently acquired Carbon. Is it Carbon Design?
Carbon Design.
And they are the group that actually designed the amazing Xbox 360 controller.
Thank you, Carbon Design.
Excuse me, I just sneezed like a maniac.
Zendai.
I couldn't control it. I apologize. So yeah, they brought this group on the team. The controller design is great. So
Amazing.
A great product in their catalog, in their portfolio.
Can I
Sorry,
just say
I'm
something
still fighting
real
a
quick?
sneeze.
I think it's funny. Like, there's a picture of a cutaway of a controller, and it looks. I always love looking at the vibration, how controllers vibrate, because it looks so stupidly simple. Like when you actually see the mechanism, it's just a little motor with a weight on it.
Yeah.
It's an off-balanced weight that just spins around.
I wonder what
don't know.
the trigger force feedback looks like, how that's done in the Xbox One controller.
Yeah. How is it different from the?
Well, there's no trigger.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like it actually pushes back against.
Yeah, there's feedback in that.
Okay.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that team is now on Oculus. Oculus is becoming this, super power design group development team for virtual reality. And to be honest, I don't care.
Why? Where?
I don't care about virtual reality. I mean, it's going to be neat. But I think it's going to be this neat, niche-y thing as far as in the gaming world.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's another thing that it's like, it's going to be limited because there are people that are just going to get sick. And I think if there's
Right.
enough people that get sick using your product, it's never going to become this huge, broadly, adopted technology.
Yeah. I think we talked about Aliens last week, like playing that
Yep.
super scary game like that. I think games, maybe not, I don't want to be terrified, but things that can really immerse you like that are super cool. And you're right, I think it still is going to be really nichey for a while, but I think with the 2 billion behind them and getting people, we are both huge fans of the 360 controller. They obviously know design and ergonomics well.
Yes.
So I think that they're putting together the right components. So if this is going to be something that's a thing, they're going about it the right way.
Yeah. I do. I agree with that. I think they're putting all the right people in, and I think they're setting them up for Oculus will be cool. Oculus
Yeah.
will work. Oculus will be comfortable, and but I don't think it will be a casually accepted product.
Right. I think in the world of simulation, whether it's space flight or regular flight simulators, really any simulation game, or one of my personal favorites, Euro Truck Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to play that game with an Oculus.
And
Those
we're
types of
talking
games would be
specifically.
awesome.
We're talking specifically in the gaming world.
Yeah.
There are going to be other applications. Still, I don't see them as casual applications. I don't see someone using this on a daily basis in life. Like
Just slap this on for a second.
even Google Glass. If it gets that low profile, even I don't even see then. I don't think it's going to take a long time before Google Glass becomes broadly accepted as a product.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's cool, but it looks dumb on your face.
It's going to have to be something that's you can attach this little thing on the side of your glasses that people will probably not even know you're wearing it.
Not like you taped a webcam to the side of your face.
That's my favorite part of the design, actually.
The looking like a webcam?
Yes, yes. Looking like a glass hole is what they call it.
So I'm just, you know what? It's cool. It's going to be neat. I'd love to try it, that kind of thing. But when it comes down to it, I think it will be important. I think it will lead to a lot of really cool things. But as far as Oculus just being, a part of you buy a console, you get Oculus. I don't see it being much more than motion controls and having some really neat applications for some games. But there are just so many other games you're not going to use an Oculus with.
Right.
I am not going to play Madden with an Oculus.
Right.
I'd be very limited into the amount that I would play something like Call of Duty with an Oculus. I think people are going to puke if they use it. People sit down and play Call of Duty for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be doing that with an Oculus.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be limited, all right, I can play for a half hour to an hour, and then I got to take this thing off.
I think it's very much I could see it being the way of the joystick. Most people don't have a joystick unless you're really into certain types of games, which would very much be enhanced by having that.
Agreed. All right, next story up. This is something we talked about last week. Excuse me.
There it is.
I had to get one in this episode. The Fallout games were taken off of Steam and put back on Steam.
When were they taken off?
I don't even remember because I own it.
This article confused me.
Yeah. I owned it, so it never came off for me.
Yeah, me too.
But they made some updates to Steam or to the Fallout Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics, and then they put it back on Steam. So it made the games more compatible.
Yeah.
I originally tried playing the Fallout series before they made these updates, and it was irritating. And it's nice that they put a high-res mode in, and it sounds like it'll be more compatible with computers. And so I think that's really cool. I'm glad that Bethesda, took that upon themselves to accomplish. And I think more gaming companies need to do that. I think they should do that with Fallout 3 as well, because why does it say Fallout 3 is not compatible with Windows 7 or not optimized for Windows 7?
Right.
So yeah, if you're going to be on DRM like Steam, make sure the game works for most everyone. There's
and this is
rare cases where it doesn't.
Right. This is exactly like the move. This is the sort of direction I love to see, because we just talked about last week with the like pain in the ass and like all the stuff you have to do to Doom 3 to get it to work so it's more functional on the modern system. This is exactly what they should do with these games. Like, if you got to temporarily take it off, then take it off and put it back when it's ready.
Just take it off.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, too, with some things like I've been waiting for Baldur's Gate to go on like a daily deal before I buy it. It's 50% off, but I think it's going to go 75, so I'm waiting. But that's the enhanced edition.
Right.
I kind of wish they just would have fixed it for high res. I don't know what the enhanced edition really adds. Do you have it?
I thought that that was part of the enhanced edition, was that it made it so it wasn't just limited to the original what do you call it, resolutions.
Well, and that's what I'm kind of saying. Fallout just like pulled it off the store and made it high res, like put a high res option in and put it back on.
Yeah.
They're not selling that game for $20 regular price. The first Fallout isn't $20.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of like, why is Baldur's Gate $20 just for a little high res? That's stupid.
Sorry, I was trying to check, but Steam was being dumb.
Thank you to Bethesda.
Thanks, guys.
The last thing we want to talk about are dumb lawsuits. So it looks like there's been a couple of lawsuits in the news this last week, and one is it ZeniMax or ZeniMax? They're suing Oculus or Facebook, which is kind of irritating. And Nintendo is also being sued by Philips for their motion controls, which is also irritating. It's all like patent stuff. The one with Oculus is because what's his name used to work for them.
John Carmack.
John Carmack, that's right. And they're like, he actually developed this with us, so we own part of it.
No.
And then the other one is, Philips is suing Nintendo for the motion, in the Wii.
Right.
That they own a patent to the type of thing that they just made.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are we both think some of this patent stuff is irritating. All these frivolous lawsuits is irritating. And we want to see that go away. We don't like it.
Yeah. And the big thing is, unless Philips is in development of the newest version of the Philips CDI, then what is their problem aside from just money grubbing? They made a patent to just sit out there, and then hey, they're violating it. That's it. They're not like planning on. They're not in the process of making something that's a competitor to them. It's just, hey, we made this intellectual patent and it's just sitting there, so at any point when someone decides to develop something that sort of comes close to that, we can sue them.
Yeah. And I just think that patent law and stuff like that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about squatting on websites, cyber squatting, and how some of that was fixed. I mean, there you have some grounds now if somebody is squatting on a domain name to acquire the rights to that domain name. If they're just doing it just to, try and make an extra buck. Part of it though, like with that, you are buying something and owning it. So I'm not so much on the same side with this cyber squatting stuff, but they did actually put just things in place for people to protect themselves or protect their brand, and that's what that's about. And I think this is just Nintendo went out and made something, and they're getting sued, and someone's trying to get a ton of money from them, and it's dumb. So
sucks.
All right, everybody, that's it for news. We're gonna do a little different segment this week. Instead of the retro game of the week, we're gonna do the board game of the week.
I like this.
All right, everybody, it is time for the board game of the week. Aaron and I both play board games. We talk about board games on the show a lot, and I think it's just kind of nice to be able to add this to the show every once in a while at least, because there's a ton of great board games out there. We love tabletop games. We play them with our friends and family, and so why not? We're a show about games, not just video games.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're even about binging on TV sometimes. So lately we talked about that a bunch.
Yeah.
So this week's board game of the week is a game called Quarriors. The last few weeks I've talked about Marvel Dice Masters, and I love that game. Still playing it every once in a while. You know, I've got a friend that comes over and I'll play that with him. And Quarriors is actually a game that is made by the same designers. It was actually made before Marvel Dice Masters by Mike Elliott, Eric M. Lang. They both designed this game and then Marvel Dice Masters. Now, the difference between Quarriors and Marvel Dice Masters, they're both dice building games in that you have a collection of dice and you're buying from a set of dice, you're buying more dice and adding it to your bag that you can then draw these and roll them. Quarriors is kind of like a living dice game. You buy the set. Everyone plays from that same set.
Right.
You can buy expansions and add to that. Whereas Marvel Dice Masters is a collectible dice game. Now, you do have a base set that you can buy that people can play from. And so it's nice, but it's something that you buy booster packs for. Quarriors is about you are a mighty quarrior, and you are adding dice that are actually like monsters or heroes to your set. There's a bunch of dice in front of you that are sitting on top of cards, and all those cards have abilities. And you have money called quiddity, and you draw 6 dice from your bag, roll it, and you try and buy a better dice and just keep making your collection of dice better. It's kind of like a deck building. Some people have played Dominion. And,
very similar to Dominion.
Yes, very similar. And I've been playing this lately. I like it a lot. It's a little more straightforward than Marvel Dice Masters. Marvel Dice Masters has a little more deeper strategy. What you do then is with these dice, it will either roll on a side that has money that you can spend to buy more dice, or you can roll a hero or a monster, something like that. Use that to attack your opponents. Now, if your dice survive one round, they score. And that's what you do. You just want your dice to survive battles, and then you score those points. It's called glory points. There is
I won't say anything else.
All right, yeah. I was. So then, the differences between this and Marvel Dice Masters is that you're forced to attack. You are forced to block. So if your opponent is attacking you, you have to block with whatever you can. Your opponent has to attack if they have the ability to attack. And in Marvel, there's a lot to keeping blockers back, deciding who you're going to block with, what points you're going to what attack points you're going to let just go through, who you're going to attack with and when. So that's a deeper game than Couriers.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I am sorry.
Is that
My allergies are suddenly kicking in. But I have a lot of fun with both.
There it is.
Allergy fit time. Man, this is professional. I wish I had a cough button.
Would you say that this is appropriate for someone who is like not super into board games? Because I've been trying to think of other games like Dominion. Like my parents like Dominion, and they're not board game people. I mean, they're used to like traditional board games like Sorry and like Parcheesi and that kind of stuff.
I would say Couriers has more casual appeal.
Okay.
Just like Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
I would say because things are more straightforward. It's I actually played with my mom. My mom, Brittany, and I all played, and and that is a nice thing is that Marvel Dice Masters is a 2-player game, and Couriers is 2, 3, or 4 players.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that you're able to walk people through what they're doing, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with Marvel Dice Masters, it's more, well, you can make this decision or this decision, or you can do this, and here are the benefits for doing this and that, and with all that strategy. Whereas Couriers is like, all right, you have to do this now, and you have to do this, and so that's easier to teach when that stuff is laid out in front of you.
Yeah.
And then it's easy as far as, all right, I have 6 quiddity, I can buy this die or this die, and it's easier for people.
Yeah, because I've got like I have Dominion. I've got a couple of the expansions, and I really like that. And 2 weeks ago, I played Magic with my girlfriend, and she's not a gamer, and so I'm trying to think of like more games like this that she might be into. That's not like super like
deeper game. That's it. Just because with getting into deck building and stuff like that, I would say Magic is a little harder. There's a little more. What do I do now? Kind of you get into those moments when you're trying to teach the game.
Sure.
And this is just more straightforward. I mean, everyone's buying from the same group of dice.
Mm-hmm.
In Marvel Dice Masters, you're choosing your own heroes and buying from those. And your opponent is buying from their own set. And so you're a little more alone. Whereas this is just like everybody's buying from the same stuff. So it's easier to tell people, well, this dice does this, and this dice does this, and which one do you think sounds more fun?
Right.
And yeah, I think definitely if you like deck building games, this one's pretty cool.
Cool.
Some people don't like how random it can be with rolling dice. Anything with dice rolling is usually a little more luck driven. Right. But there's still fun and strategy in what dice you're buying.
Right.
And I think it's fun. Like we talked about, the excitement of just rolling the die is fun for people.
Dice are just fun.
Definitely. I think this is one for, casual gamers that they would enjoy.
Awesome.
So that brings us to the end of another episode.
Cool. I'd like to keep talking about board games. I freaking love board games.
I think I like that too. I think we can talk about more, and I've got enough that I've played, and let's keep doing that.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So if you want to talk to us about board games or video games or any other games you might play in life, go ahead and send us an email at podcast@uphshow.com.
We're on Twitter, and our handle is @uphshow.
We're also on Facebook. I am getting confused. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/uphshow.
Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher, please. Thanks.
And also, check out our Steam group. We are Unbelievable Power Hour.
I'm Dan DeHaan, and I have allergies. And you can read all about my allergies at dandehaan.com or follow me on Twitter @dandehaan78.
He's got a great allergy blog there. It's really nice.
The molds are really out in the grass this week.
My name is Aaron Wiesinger, and I surprisingly have AaronWiesinger.com, and my Twitter handle is @aWiesinger.
And finally, we are on YouTube as well. You can watch our podcast there, or watch some of our other video game related videos, our allergy coping videos as
You
well.
know what would be cool? We should record us playing a board game as well when I'm back in town.
Yes.
And we can post that up.
Let's do that.
That creeps me
And
out.
our address is youtube.com/UPH show. And yeah, that sounds a good idea. Let's do a board game recording. We can do either like Race for the Galaxy or Marvel Dice Masters, and that'd be a nice
Awesome.
fun addition. I like that. Good job, Aaron. Love the idea. That's the end of the show, everybody. See you next week.
Bag ass.
And stop.